determine the case. The controversial preliminary issue was on the floor for argument as the defense counsel sought to have the three judges, Anthony Mrima, Eric Ogola and Freda Mugambi, recuse themselves from hearing and determining the petition, arguing that only the Chief Justice has the authority to form such a panel. Nonetheless, Gachagwa's lawyers also wanted to know when the file arrived from Kerugoya at 4 p.m. for the Deputy Chief Justice to appoint the three judges. The court has on Tuesday evening adjourned and will make a ruling on Wednesday.
Lordships and your leadership to have sat as a court outside the prescribed court days on a Saturday was a gross irregularity. The maxim that justice must not only be done, it must manifestly be seen to be done, is an extension of the right to a fair trial guaranteed in Article 50. This litany of irregularities contaminates the sitting of this bench irredeemable.
As long as the bench has been appointed by the Chief Justice, who has declined to follow the fair process for purposes of appointment of the various judges to sit, there cannot be a valid appointment. Not because I and my colleagues here would have anything on a good day before any of you, Your Lordship. We have done very many matters. We have courageously stood up for the Constitution in various matters, but my Lord, unhappily, we have to be the ones saying that it would appear to a section half of this country, if not 3/4, that you have been enlisted in service of the violations of the Constitution.
Under what circumstances the Chief Justice, the Deputy Chief Justice, authorize you to sit on a Saturday? Under what circumstances did the Chief Justice herself, Deputy Chief Justice herself, sit at night, in the wee hours of the night, ungodly hours, and constituted this bench? Your Lordship, it's our humble submissions that Article 10 has only arrogated that function again exclusively to the Chief Justice, and that the Deputy Chief Justice has no power under Section 10 of the High Court Organization and Administration Act to order you all to the...
Now, with the hearing of the petition on the constitutionality of the three-judge bench that was appointed to hear the impeachment motion against the impeachment case against Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua by Deputy Chief Justice Philomena Mwilu, it also provided an opportunity for confrontation from professors, senior counsels and lawyers in court. From the veteran Dr. John Haminwa to Professor Githu Muigai, Elisha Ongoya to Senior Counsel Tom Ojenda, the corridors of court proved just the right ground for jabs. Watch.
Doctors, I got it because I don't want to make speeches. Is that my colleagues accused this side of making speeches, and in the process they made speeches. But having said that, my Lord, an issue has arisen following disclosures by my Lord Justice Mrima about how this bench has been constituted. It's now apparent that the petitioner and the first interested party in petition 15 have an issue with that. We suggest that we be given time to file a formal application. It could not have been filed earlier because the disclosure has been made here. And since that issue goes to the core of your capacity to sit, it ought to be resolved preliminarily. Whether you have been properly empaneled is the most preliminary of preliminary issues. We urge that you give direction on the nature of a timeline when that application ought to be filed, a timeline when responses will be filed, then give us a return date to come and canvass that application on whether you are properly constituted.
And they may leave, they normally leave court, they may leave, they left Senate, may leave court. We let them say whether they are applying for adjournment.
Is that remark, they normally leave court, whether they left Senate, palatable in this court, my Lord? I need that.
No, because this is an adjournment.
No, is that remark palatable before my lord and my lady? But because, you know, we have decorum at the bar. If you have a professor of law misbehaving at the bar, then there's a problem. I'm urging that you direct that remark be withdrawn first.
Let Paul be given as much time as he wants. Let the professor be given as much time as he wants. Let the Honorable Attorney General be given as much time as he wants. That is the healing process. And from this court, we shall all march forward with confidence. If I may quote Mutaje Mokinata, before and buried the Matako New. Let us talk about corporate time. Where are we going?
My Lord,
where are we going with Prince with respect, will you speak to that? Camino is talking. Will you sit down?
This court, senior counsel has preference, speaks first before any other person except the Attorney General. So if you would please sit down, I as senior counsel.
I will not speak down. We're not practicing law. You're still doing breastfeeding.
That is also
the famous Dr. John Khaminywa, and you know, got a lot of respect in that particular court, despite the verbal attacks against each other as they argued their cases. So interesting to see how that as well will play out tomorrow ahead of that particular ruling. Pardon me. Now, President William Ruto has filed a preliminary objection in a petition against the impeachment of Rigathi Gachagua through lawyer Adrian Kamotho. Ruto says that the court lacks jurisdiction to hear and determine the petition, arguing it is abuse of court process. The president has been named as the fifth respondent in the case, whereas the impeached deputy president is named as an interested party. President Ruto, while asking the court to dismiss the case, says that the civil proceedings cannot be instituted in any court against the president or the person performing the functions of the office of the president during the tenure of office in respect of anything done or not done under the Constitution of Kenya 2010. Case, a three-judge bench consisting of Justice Olga Sewe, John Chigiti, and Josephine Mongare has ruled that the housing levy was enacted in accordance with the Constitution and that adequate public participation was done. 6 cases were filed challenging the law and the affordable housing levy that was imposed at a standard rate of 1.5% on the gross salary of an employee or the gross income of a person receiving or accruing salary. The grounds of ruling included whether there was adequate public participation, whether the Affordable Housing Act violated Article 47 and 43 of the Constitution, and whether the Affordable Housing Act infringes on devolution. Now, the Cabinet Secretaries for Lands and Housing as well as Treasury argued that the Act sought to fulfill constitutional right of every Kenyan to adequate and accessible housing.
Petitions do not meet the threshold set out in ANARITA. Thirdly, that the petitions lack precision as to which human rights have been infringed and do not indicate whether the said limitation is not that which is provided for under Article 24 and not qualified under 25.
We further note that the National Assembly that held consultations with various government agencies, including the State Department of Housing and the National Treasury and the State Law Office, offering opportunities for them to submit representations to the Joint Committee. A short public engagement period can comply with the doctrine of reasonableness if it is adequate to the issue at hand, proportional to the level of public interest or urgency, and fair in ensuring that stakeholders have meaningful opportunities to participate.
For our finding that whether or not the Commission on Revenue Allocation participated in a process of the Affordable Housing Act are non-consequential.
Now, Chief Justice Martha Koome visited Makadara Law Courts on Tuesday to gauge the security improvements and efficiency of service to the people. Koome said the judiciary is committed to decongesting courts in Nairobi, especially Makadara. This happened even as the whereabouts of the Chief Justice had been questioned following the appointment of a 3-judge bench by Deputy Chief Justice Philomena Mwilu. Koome, however, did not comment on the matter.
So, tusalimie wananchi.
Yes.
Jambo. Habari zenu? Salamu alaikum. Yes, mko sawa? Sawa. Okay. Hata mimi nimekuja kuona vile mko. Decided to come and see how you're doing. Yes.
Now away from the corridors of courts, a gas explosion in Mukuru kwa Ruben has destroyed several homes. The early Tuesday gas explosion sparked a massive fire, sending thick black smoke billowing into the sky. According to witnesses, the fire started mid-morning in one of the houses and quickly spread to adjacent structures in the densely populated slum. Attempts by residents to fight the flames were in vain, and a video posted online shows desperate residents battling the flames using limited resources as firefighting engines were yet to arrive. The situation was exacerbated by the lack of water in the area as the slum has experienced water shortages in recent days.
Ni vile huyo mkubwa kidogo wakubwa wawili watoroka kidogo. Wengine wakubwa walitolewa. Walikuwa nje wakakimbia sasa kwenda kuambia polisi kuna waka moto. Sasa kurudi wakasukumwa sasa na vijana wakakuwa wengi.
Vile nilikuwa natoka kazi nikasikia watu wanapika nduru. Vile nilikuwa natoroka kuja huku nikakutana na mtoto wa jirani. Akaniambia sister, mtoto wetu. Nikamuuliza mtoto ako wapi? Hata ako kwa nyumba. Vile nimemwambia ako kwa nyumba analala ama ako na nani? Akaniambia mamangu amechukua mtoto akaweka kwa kita akaenda town.
Huyo mmoja tu ni vile moto iliongezeka tu ikakuwa mingi. Tukangana sisi kama mayouth, mavijana tukangana juu chini. Tukashindwa tukaona mtoto wetu ameshachomeka. Tukangana tu kuzima tuzime tu moto.
Over 965,000 candidates have officially begun sitting for their Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education KCSE after rehearsals were conducted on 18th of October. The first papers that were done on Tuesday were oral practicals and foreign papers. The written papers that are done with a huge percentage of candidates will begin on November 4th with the English paper 1, functional writing before chemistry paper 1 in the afternoon. This year's examinations will end on November 22nd as physics paper 3 practicals will be the last test.
As a county, we are prepared, just like the expectations of the examination council. The council has led the sensitization and briefing.
So we expect better results this time, now that we just had a very strong and massive briefing.
And all the examination centers across the county, we have deployed officers adequately to ensure that the exams are done effectively without any kind of malpractice.
Kila mtu simu yake itakuwa inachukuliwa asubuhi, inafungiwa mpaka wakati wa mtihani inaendelea. Ukimaliza jioni ndio tutaanza kutumia masimu zetu.
Wamejitayarisha kwa mtihani vilivyo. Wako tayari kabisa. Hawa warembo wamekuwa wakidurusu, wamesoma vizuri, wanaongojea mtihani.
Now, pregnancies among school-going children continue being a challenge in Bungoma County. 79 KCSE candidates and 2 grade 6 students from western and eastern parts of Webuye will sit for the final exams while expectant. Parents and stakeholders are urged to unite in order to deal with the situation. And even as women representative for Bungoma County, Catherine Wambilianga, has been saddened by the increased number of expectant candidates. Now she has urged leaders to partner in order to deal with the issue.
Kwa ajili ya likizo, ujumbe wangu ni wazazi, tuchunge na tuongee na watoto wetu, hasa watoto wasichana. Tuzuie hizi mimba za mapema, jameni. Shule zitakapofunguliwa, tusije tukapata watoto ni wawili kwa darasa. Msichana amekaa ni mmoja lakini wako ndani wawili. Kwa sababu ya nini? Sisi wazazi tunaogopa kuongea na watoto wetu. Ongea na mtoto wako. Mtoto wako msichana akitoka, muulize umeenda wapi mwanangu. Akirudi nyumbani usiku, wewe mzazi umeacha mtoto ameenda party, disco, matanga, anarudi saa 8 ya usiku, anarudi kesho yake, haujui mtoto ametoka wapi. Hapo ndio tuna encourage mimba za mapema. Hata mtoto anapotoka shule anytime, mzazi mzuri lazima uulize mtoto umetoka wapi. Saa ya kutoka shule ni saa 12. Wewe unaingia hapa saa 4 ya usiku, unatoka wapi? Hapo tutakuwa tunaongea na watoto. Tuna makanisa tutumie media house. Counselors from all over. Pastors ambao mko kati yetu, mtusaidie sisi viongozi tuongee na hao watoto.
Now, 1 in 2 children globally are bearing the brunt of lead poisoning exposure, with about 1 million deaths annually. Fresh statistics as presented by the USAID indicate that about 800 million children in developing countries, including Kenya, are affected by lead poisoning, causing severe effects to children and adults, including miscarriage in expectant women and birth of children with lower IQ. As the world commemorates the 12th International Lead Poisoning Prevention Week of action, the Ministry of Health is looking into to review laws on chemicals that harm the environment, including lead, as it emerges that about 600,000 children are affected intellectually every year.
It is estimated that lead exposure costs the global economy $1.4 trillion annually. And I think this morning we were talking about that number could be an underestimate. It contributes to over 1 million deaths each year.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are committed to providing world-class paints. Our endeavor is to provide products that are not just best in performance, but also safe and minimize the impact on our environment. In continuation with the same objective, we converted the entire Duracoat and Duracoat Royal water-based decorative products to low VOC way back in 2011. And we continue to ensure that we provide paints that are environmentally friendly and good for our customers.
I have stated there is no point of reinventing the wheel. We must review laws, regulations, guidelines, and strategies to tackle the emerging chemical of environmental and health concerns, including antimicrobial resistance through the One Health approach.
Now let's get this sporty. With the December holidays approaching, a rallying call has been issued to parents to raise their children well as they are warned against usage of drugs. The calls were made by Halaba Ward representative in Kakamega County, Boniface Osanga, during the launch of Osanga's tournament in Matungu constituency. The member has also asked Matungu Member of Parliament Peter Oscar Nabulindo to account for money for managing sports in Matungu, money which he claims has been wasted without helping the young people in sports. Osanga has asked young people to use their talent well while providing playing uniforms and balls to more than 30 teams within the constituency.
Watoto wanaporudi nyumbani after kufunga, haswa hii likizo ni mrefu sana, tuangalie watoto wetu, tusiachie ma relatives. Mara mtoto ameenda kwa Senje, mara mtoto ameenda kwa Ango, mara mtoto ameenda si kwa nani. Ningeomba wazazi tukae na watoto wetu, tuwalinde, tuwakuze na pia tuelimishe, wajua kwamba ulimwengu ni mgumu, na wajua kwamba kuna maisha baadaye. So kama ni wasomi, waendelee kusoma polepole kwa nyumbani, na haswa sisi kama viongozi tumeweka talanta so kwa keep busy, wasiende kwa vitu ambavyo havistahili kama maybe wizi ama ushirikina ama usharati. Watoke hizo vitu ambazo hasifai, wafanye vitu ambazo zinafaa kama michezo na kusoma na kusaidia wazazi nyumbani. Na jambo la mwisho ningeomba sana, nataka kushukuru sana county government ya Kakamega, sababu sisi kama wabunge tuliweka pesa ya michezo under governor's cup, na nimesikia governor anaenda kuanza mchezo zake hii next month. Ningeomba sana viongozi wote, hata CDF, na pesa CDF ya michezo hapa Matungu, pesa michezo ya CDF inakulwa kila siku. Ningeomba mbunge ya kwamba pesa ya michezo ya CDF isaidie watoto wetu wa Matungu hapa. Tunataka hiyo pesa ya michezo ihakikishe kwamba talanta za watoto wa Matungu hapa zinakuzwa, sababu lengo la ile pesa ni kukuza talanta za watoto wetu hapa Matungu. Kama mara hii atakula
All right, so that is where we wrap it up tonight. Thank you very much for keeping us company and for watching. This is EBN Prime Edition. We've got quite a lot of stories that we'll be keeping tabs on tomorrow, especially along the corridors of court with the hearing of the petition on the impeachment of Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, as well as the constitutionality of the 3-judge bench that was formed by the DCJ Philomena Mwilu. So quite a long day as well tomorrow in the corridors of court. We'll be having our eyes and ears on the ground to see what happens, and we'll be updating you in our subsequent bulletin. Thank you for watching. Have yourselves a wonderful night.